Hello and welcome to the Codec Moments podcast. We've changed things up today. The guys have let me loose on the episode. I am your host, Ali Cornwall, at corn_wolf on Twitter, and joining me as always is Dr. Matthew Holt. Hello.
Hello.
And this isn't a figment of your imagination, but Andy's back for another episode. Welcome back, Andy.
I'm actually here. Hello.
I know, yeah. Live as well, live and kicking.
Yeah, definitely. So, what's happening today, Ellie?
So we are doing a little bit of a kind of a tech show, a little bit of an update from last week, because the last episode that we did put out, we may have said about a few games that we're looking forward that are coming up in the first half of the year, and that might not be the case anymore. Just a different
just about half the games we talked about.
Yeah, maybe
postponed.
So we're going to start off with a few bits of techie, gadgety things that we may have picked up in the last, I say 6 months or so, because it's been a while since we've done a tech episode. So I'm going to put him on the spot. And Matt, what have you got?
Well, I actually have to go back about 6 months to the last bit of tech that I bought. But I bought myself a new smartwatch. And I went with the Fossil Gen 5 that they released. I can't remember when it was. Was it August or September? And
yeah, I remember you reviewing something on the website about it.
Yeah, I stuck a review up, so I won't go into huge detail because you can go and read the details in there. But my other smartwatch was, or my old smartwatch, which was probably the third one I've been on, was starting to go. It wasn't doing notifications properly, and it was quite clear that it wasn't supported anymore for Android Wear. So I thought it's about time I upgraded. Went for a Fossil one, and long story short, yeah, well impressed. Really nice piece of kit with a very good battery life on it. Full functions, running always on screen, etc. Could probably get about 2 days out of it, but it does have like a battery saver mode that would easily do it for a week. You're not getting much smart function out of that, but you do have it going, and it automatically puts itself in that if it runs below a certain percentage. So it's a weird, simple addition, really. It's just some customizable battery stuff, but it makes quite a difference, especially if you're used to having one that runs out in a day or just over a day. It's pretty good. But that was actually the last piece of tech that I got. I don't think I've had anything recently, and definitely nothing related to gaming.
Oh, you're letting us down, Matt. I've got a smartwatch which I'm looking to upgrade, so I'll have to bend your ear a little bit about it. I've got a Gear Fit 2 at the minute.
So there's the Gen 5s that have come out, but there's also a hybrid watch that I think they've just released. So it's more of a timepiece than an actual smartwatch, but it does do some of the features, and some of those look really nice. But I think Samsung are doing a new smartwatch that's due for release fairly soon. I saw a news article that I didn't read in full, but it did mention something about specs getting released. So if you're liking what you've got with Samsung's own proprietary setup, then it's probably worth looking at that. Because if you move over to the Android Wear, or even went off towards the Apple ones, because I think you can use those with Android phones, can't you?
Yeah, you can, yeah.
Then you're going to be going to a completely different ecosystem, so you might want to do a little bit of digging first on those two.
I'll be honest, the only reason why I've got the one I've got is because when I got one of my Samsung phones, it was free. So why not?
That's always a good reason for having one.
What about yourself, Andy? Have you picked up anything? I know you're a bit of a tech whiz.
Yeah, I mean, my watch broke the other week. I've had an Apple Watch for a few years now, and I had a version 2, and it stopped working, completely dead. So I took it back to the shop, and I was looking at the Fossil smartwatches and thinking, what am I going to go for next? Is this going to be the moment I finally break Apple's stronghold over me and move towards, Android, and maybe the watch will precipitate me changing my phone and getting out of this dreaded iOS ecosystem. But no,
that's never going to happen.
Yeah, they took one look at it and said, yeah, we think this is a known fault, seeing as it won't turn on, so we'll get it repaired for free.
Oh, nice.
Result. And while I was there, I bought an iPhone 11 Pro. So my contract, I had an iPhone 10 not long after they came out on contract, and when it ended, I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to keep the phone. I'm quite happy with it because it was going to cost me £60-70 a month to upgrade, and I thought, sod that. I'll just go on to. I've got like a Smarty SIM card now, which costs me about a tenner a month for 8 gig, so I'm quite happy.
Fair enough.
And then I went in. They were like, "You do know you could get one interest free for like £30 a month?" And I was like, "Could I? Really? Oh, okay." So yeah, well, I might just do that. And pretty much, I'm sure it's a technological marvel, but pretty much all I've worked out is it's got two new cameras on it. So it's got like a wide angle lens, which is pretty cool, good for taking pictures of the cat and the baby, I suppose. And it's got a zoom, which is really good for taking pictures of the cat. Yeah.
Okay.
And the baby, I suppose.
Have you purchased yourself a cover for it yet that makes it look like it's John Matrix from Commando holding that ridiculous rocket launcher?
No, but I shall be Googling that.
Have you not seen it?
As soon as I'm not involved in this conversation any longer, I'm going to be right on that. That sounds amazing.
I think in the actual film, it's 4 holes, not 3. But the way it looks, and because of the way someone's maybe manipulated it a little bit, it does look like the rocket launcher is great.
That is awesome. That is everything I've ever wanted. I can't love that any more than I already do. So yeah, I mean it's just a phone at the end of the day. It's an essential item that you carry around with you, really, isn't it? I mean, it could be doing whatever. But in terms of tech that I really love, right in front of me, and the reason that I've managed to convince Ali and Matt to do a live broadcast is last year I picked up a Rodecaster Pro. For a very reasonable price, but it's an amazing mixing desk, because in the past, if you wanted to take mix minus and do phone calls and everything like that, you had to involve different sends and all, very complicated desks and or very expensive telebalancing equipment. And this little mixing desk, which is basically designed for podcasting, is amazing. It's got 4 mic channels on it, which is ideal if we ever actually get together face to face. We'll have enough to go on there. You can plug in a USB from a computer and do a mix minus on that without any trouble. You can do multi-track recording to a computer. You can take a mix minus from an iPhone or from a phone, 3.5mm jack plugged in, if you can find one, or a converter on modern phones. And then you've also got mix minus on Bluetooth as well, which admittedly the quality isn't as good as plugging it in, but at a push, it'll get you by. Yeah, and then you've got an 8-pad soundboard as well on it, which is awesome because you can do stuff like this.
Fat Mad Scoop, Crooked Glen.
Which is
how much you love a soundboard.
And I do love a soundboard, but they keep adding functionality to it. They're doing fairly regular firmware updates, and so initially you could only have the 8 sounds. You could only have 8 sounds programmed to it at any time, but they've now updated it so you can add different pages of sounds. So you've got to scroll through, but it's really, really added to the flexibility of it. So you can set it up for different shows, different podcasts. You can now map it on your computer, so you can basically save the settings on it. So if you do multiple podcasts for different people, you can just upload a new set of settings to it every time you change the podcast. It's really, really clever.
It sounds it. Is it the one that you had when we did the last live Discord show?
Yeah.
It did look really smart, because obviously for that one we were in the same room, and it seemed a lot simpler and easier than what you were using before.
It's really nice, and it is like a little broadcast production desk in its own right. So you can, if I was doing production for something, not on the air as it were, if I wanted to interview Ali, and I can record directly onto those sound pads I've just been talking about. So I can actually record an interview with him onto there and then just play it back during my podcast. I can transfer it from there onto my computer if I want to edit it, tweak it, top and tail it. It's just a really, really versatile bit of kit. I mean, I started working in hospital radio back in the 90s, and I've worked in student radio, Viking FM, all that kind of thing. And this is given me the functionality that, a kind of production studio would have had back then.
It's amazing.
On my desk at home. It's amazing. It really is an amazing piece of kit.
Yeah, it did look great. And I like the giant, obvious record button. That lets you know when it's
and that is
and when it's not recording.
That is absolutely one of the key selling points for me.
And I'd say I'm not being flippant about that because it is so easy to forget to press record.
We've all done it.
Yeah.
Each one of us have done it at some point.
We've literally all done it.
And on others. And so it is a silly but fantastic little idea.
So has this replaced, or is it a like a complement to your Stream Deck, your Elgato Stream Deck?
This is essentially for what I was using the Stream Deck for. This has essentially replaced it.
All right, okay.
Yeah. Because it's got a column on it.
Fat Man Scoop, Crooked Clan.
Batman Scoop, Crooklyn Clan.
Batman Scoop, Crooklyn Clan.
Yeah, you get it.
Yeah. That's it. That's all you're using it for. Fat Man Scoop samples.
There are a lot of Fat Man Scoop samples in there. I'm not going to lie. Yeah.
Wicked.
No, nice. I like that.
So yeah, I can't recommend it more highly if I'm honest.
So is it just me that's got anything that's remotely gaming related?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take it from here then, boys. Yeah.
I'm off for a beer. See you in a bit.
Yeah. All right.
I'm
So
going to go Google that phone cover.
Oh yeah.
I did that while you were talking about your mixing desk. It was quite amusing.
So I've had two purchases recently. One before Christmas, one after.
Yeah.
So one was a new rim. So that's the actual wheel that sits on my wheel.
Yes. Yeah, you sent us a picture of this, and I'm admittedly I'm a little bit jealous of this one.
Yeah. So apart from the fact that it's got a Ferrari badge on it, which I am trying to find somewhere that will give me a new decal for it, because I'm not the hugest Ferrari fan. That's personal choice.
Duct tape.
Yeah, just spit on it. But so I now have an F1 style wheel, basically, on my setup, which is called a rim, which we'll get to later in a little quiz that I've got. And it's got something like 21 buttons on it or something crazy like that. And it's based on the 2017 Ferrari F1 car. So it's that kind of style.
So is it like a proper replica of what they used in there?
Yes. Yeah. Not all when you look at a picture of it, not all the dials do things. Some of them are just there for look, but a lot of them do. So there's two little, there's a few little rocker switches, which you can map to anything. So it's actually for the PlayStation. However, it does work with the Xbox. You just can't map all the buttons yet. But I'm mainly using it on my PC. So just to get around that, but you can map all the buttons. But the nice thing for it is so if I play the F1 game on my PC, is there's a couple of spinny switches, if you like. So I can turn my fuel balance up and my DRS up and things like that. And there's just buttons everywhere on it. It's great. So it's really nice to be able to map the buttons that you need when you're racing. I've recently gone back on to playing iRacing as well. So it means that I can do things on my wheel while I'm driving, which you think, how do F1 drivers do that? And I know I'm not going at technically, I'm just sat still, but 100 and whatever miles an hour. But you do get used to it. It's muscle memory, big time. And what I've purchased recently, which I had to wait to come from Italy, but there's a little technical thing I'm trying to get my head around, is I've now got a holder for it. So there is a little space in it where you can put a Bluetooth revometer, if you like, in it. Right. And also speed, but you can actually use those screw holes, and someone's designed, I think it's using a 3D printer, and I've got an iPhone SE sat in it with the app running on it. And I'll send you a picture.
Which app is that one? Is that the one that you convinced me to buy?
This is like the dashboard.
Yes. Yeah. So basically, it takes away the edging of it and it blends it nicely into the wheel. So it actually looks more like a modern F1 wheel, if you like. And you can scroll through and you can do things on that as well, which is crazy.
So are you feeling like a proper F1 driver when you start playing the game now?
Yeah, because there is a little bit where I've taken it up to another level, and there is a reason behind it, because I wear gloves now, especially if I'm doing a long race. Because of the
My comfortable driving gloves.
Yeah, well,
I'm laughing away because it sounds really silly, but actually it's surprising what you do wear when you know you're going into a long play session on your wheel. I have a very specific pair of slippers that I wear for driving in, which is ridiculous. But anyway.
The coating on it's quite soft. It's nice. I don't know what it is that's, where it's like they just put some rubber on it or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's that soft. It kind of gives you blisters a little bit. So when I first got it, I was like, no, I saw a few reviews and people were like, yeah, you need to get gloves. And I'm like, no, I'm not getting gloves. And then I quickly went and brought some gloves just because it does protect your hands. Because it's mainly kind of near your thumb where you're steering with, and you get little blisters and you get a bit sore if you're doing anything over 20 minutes or so on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
right.
that's
so
the wheel.
What's your excuse for the fireproof suit and the helmet?
Just why not? But that's what Leanne, when she wants to set me on fire, to buy and all that.
I see. Blame your wife.
Yeah, when she hits me with that pan, it doesn't hurt as much.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing like there'll have to be capacitive gloves as well if you've got your screen in the middle of it.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a lot of thought that goes into this.
I know, yeah. But to be fair, I don't use the screen that much to do other things, mainly because I've got that many buttons on my wheel. I don't have to. So it's mainly used as a speedo, and I think it shows my tyre temperatures now, depending on which game I'm playing and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I don't need to flick it over that much. But yeah, it's all good.
Nice.
So I think it was, oh God, when was it? Were we doing the F1 2019? I wasn't on it. You and Matt were talking about car games. So I think I made up the excuse that I pretended I was going to High Wycombe or something for work. But
Probably.
You were talking about your load cell, the pedals that you had. And one of the things because I was listening back to that this week on shameless plug, Codec Moments Radio, playing the best of the Codec Moments podcast 24/7. Anyway, it was very interesting, but you were still tweaking it at that point. So how are you finding that now? Kind of probably, what is it, 6, 8, 9 months?
Yeah, I love it. It depending on the game that I'm playing, I have to mess around with the settings a little bit, mainly because it changes the way the pedal responds. So because it's made it very, there's not a lot of throw in it. So when I'm pressing it, I hardly have to press it until it's almost maxing out, unless I really stand on it.
Yeah.
And some games, when you're setting up your pedals, it won't go up very much. So it's as if I'm pressing it, say 10%, if that, and I could be standing on the brakes. So it's just getting my head around and knowing what to look for on the settings of the games to either make it more sensitive or to turn it off. So iRacing, for example, I turn it off. I put everything I put the braking on 0, and it knows that the load cell is going to send the signals to it and it's not going to interfere with it. And that works well. Obviously, you can tweak it on the actual car, but this is the in-game settings. But then obviously for something like Forza and the F1 game, I just have to tweak, I think it's the linearity of the brake pedal just to get that sensitivity. But I am more consistent on the brakes. I know 9 times out of 10, depending on the game and the consistency of the game itself, but I know my consistency from braking's there as well.
All right. So it's definitely making a difference then.
Yes.
Excellent. Sounds like it's well worth it.
Yeah, it was good. Like I said, I got a little bit of a discount on it, but it was worth the money. It's made me more consistent in braking rather than relying on a little rubber grommet to do it.
Yeah.
When you spend as much time doing laps as you do, it's a good investment, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. I've got my money's worth out of it, probably out of the rim already as well.
Nice.
Yeah. And then the last little bit of tech stuff is my I treated myself to a Thrustmaster HOTAS 1, so which is a little flight stick.
Wait, hold on. You HOTAS.
Is that how you spell it?
I just ever since you said you got one on Hangouts chat, I've just been in my head calling it a HOTAS. I'm feeling a little bit disappointed now that you haven't got your Thrustmaster HOTAS.
HOTAS. Yeah, no, it's HOTAS. That's how people pronounce it anyway.
I'm such a child. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Yeah. So I picked this up. I had some vouchers from from work and just thought, why not? Mainly because of the flight sim game that's coming out later this year. I don't know if there's a date for it.
Is that the full-on Microsoft
Yeah.
flight simulator?
Yeah.
The new one?
Yes.
It looks phenomenal, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. And anybody that's spent any time with me knows that I'm a bit of a spotter at heart. Used to work at an airport and for an airline, and my family, we're all about that. So I've done plenty of time in various flight sims before, and I just thought, well, I'll get it ready for that. But then there's a few other games that I've been playing it on. So I've tried it on Ace Combat 7, is it the latest one?
Yes, is it?
Yes.
I want to say it's Unknown Skies.
Yes.
I should know. I've got it downstairs. I haven't finished it. I need to go back to it.
Yeah. So it took a little bit of getting used to, because again, there's like 14 buttons on it, and
Yes.
and some of them are quite subtle as well. So on a normal controller, you've obviously got your main trigger, but then there's like a little button that you can just lift your finger up and hit. And it's like, it took me ages. I had to physically pick up my controller and pick it up to see what number it said, because it said like press, I don't know, button 14 or something, and I'm like, where the hell is that? So yeah, it takes a while to get used to it, because you can twist it as well for the rudder, as well as using some other buttons on the actual throttle. So it takes a while for you to get your head into it. And I can also plug in my old, I've not done this yet, but I can plug my old pedals in to it to use that as well. But I've not gone that far yet, because it's compatible, because it's Thrustmaster. So I might have to try that at some point. But yeah, I've had fun on Ace Combat with it. I just need to get my head around it a little bit more. And then I've been playing a little bit of Elite Dangerous as well. I know myself and Mark were having a little chat about it in the Discord chat. And it was really good until I got frustrated and I ended up warping into an asteroid field and blew up my ship. But that's just me. Mistakes were made.
I have to say that the lack of, I'm saying lack, but I probably don't mean it in a derogatory way, but the lack of ease of use of the controller in that game is one thing that put me off. And I can see the flight stick, because the flight stick's almost dedicated for Elite, isn't it? Doesn't it come with a whole preset for it? And I can see that making a massive difference to the way that plays and making it easier, because it's kind of trying to do it off a pad. You're just confused on what does what, and it's sub-menu within sub-menu to make things happen. And just landing your ship can take half an hour.
Have you seen any of?
Then you crash it.
Have you seen any of Up Is Not Jumps videos on playing Elite on VR?
No.
Check them out on YouTube, because they're really funny, because he goes through basically trying to set up his joystick so that he can play Elite in VR, and then goes through like mapping audio controls and voice controls and stuff like that. And it is really funny, just trying to watch this poor guy get his head around how to control his ship and all the myriad of different controls that he needs to map to different things while he can't actually see his controls because he's got a VR headset on. It is really, really worth investing the time watching those.
I might have to check those out. And I keep meaning, it's one of those I keep thinking, like, I ought to go back and play more of it. But then I just think I can't do with the control pad. As much as I was quite enjoying the game, it's too confusing. So what price was it, Ali? Was it sort of sensible price, or
£70, something like that?
That's not too bad.
No, there are people selling them on second hand cheaper.
Is it well made? Does it feel solid, sturdy, like it's going to last a while, or does it feel like it's going to wrench off in your hands if you go a bit crazy?
No, it is plastic, but to me it feels sturdy. And the nice thing is as well is the lead on it's not massively long, but long enough that you can detach the joystick from the throttle, and there's a wire connecting the two, but then you can have it on the right hand side of you or the left hand side of you, depending which way where you are. Yeah. And you can have them separate if you want, just to give you that, so you're not like all like T-Rexed up trying to do everything all together. You can actually give yourself a bit of space, and I won't say make it feel more realistic, because I guess it depends on where it is on whatever it is you're trying to fly, but it makes it a little bit more comfortable. Yeah. And yeah, I would say it's worth the money. There is a Ace Combat edition, but it was like almost another £50.
Really?
And it just
for one game?
And from what I could gather, it just made it blue. There's some bits on it, and it was blue. And I couldn't see anything else, because I was like, oh, it looks nice. And it was like, yeah, the Ace Combat 7 edition. And I'm like, but it's just blue. There's bits on it. And it's not like all blue. It's just a little bit of blue. And I'm like, I could just paint it blue myself. But with Elite Dangerous, it does make it easier, but not, I say easier with a heavy heart because the game's still hard. And there's a hell of a lot to it. But it does make the controls easier. So I just press X and left. And it then takes me to the other bits where you can do things, and there's more buttons for you to either map or they're pre-mapped, like you say, but so you can get around the menus a bit better on your ship, and then you can just set to.
Yeah.
And I guess you could map them yourself as well. But yeah, it's really good. I've probably not used it as much as I should, but yeah, it's good fun.
Oh, nice. No, so your HOTAS sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to brag.
So if you plug your pedals into it, what
Yes.
kind of functionality would you use that for? If you're playing a flight simulator, could you map your rudder to it like you'd have on an actual aircraft? Or
Yes, I think that's what it does do, but I've not plugged it in yet. I need to get it out. But as far as I'm aware, it just makes your pedals into rudders, because you can buy an add-on for rudder pedals. But then I've been doing a little bit of research, and someone said, well, it's exactly the same as what you use for your steering wheel. And it's exactly the same connection, so you could just plug them in. And so I'll do it one day and report back and see what happens.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Thank you.
Yeah, that's right.
So do we have to get to everything we got wrong in the last podcast?
Well, it was right.
Is there enough time in the world? Yeah.
It's a recurring theme, and probably something we've noticed through these episodes looping over and over on Codec Moments Radio, is that we do get quite a lot wrong. Usually just not as quickly as we got these ones wrong.
No, normally there's a couple of months. This was the day after.
Yeah. Or in the best case scenario, it's our predictions from E3 and how wrong we got them.
Yeah.
Not we've released an episode of, look, we're looking forward to these games that are roughly this time, and then they've just blown them out the water, and you're like, oh.
It's like the devs were listening and thought, well, this will spite them. They've done some research. Let's blow that out of the water.
Yeah.
So come on then. And I think we've got 4, haven't we, that have been delayed, and we talked about 9 of them. Which of the 4 is your personal biggest delay, Ali? The one that you regret the most?
I think it's Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
But I'm going to just tag on Marvel with that as well. And the reason is I tend to go on holiday in September. So 2 of the biggest titles that I was looking forward to for the year, I'm a big Marvel fan, and I do like the look of the Cyberpunk game because of Witcher and things. And they're both now September when I'm on holiday. So are
they a week apart?
No. So Cyberpunk's now the 17th of September.
Yeah.
And you are right. Yeah. And the other one's the 4th of September.
Oh, so they're 2 weeks away from each other.
Yeah. So, yes, it is gutting, and I'm just hoping they don't delay them more. I'm not surprised with Cyberpunk because that does look next gen. And
you said at the time you thought it would have a spec uplift for the consoles that are supposed to be due at the end of this year.
And they've said they just need a bit more time to polish it and tweak it and things. And if I'm honest, I don't mind delays. I'd be more annoyed with them because some of these games have already been delayed a few times anyway. But I'd be more annoyed with the games being released broken. And how it is when we've all played games where you get so far and you get to a certain mission and then it just glitches and you have to put it down for a month or something until we get a fix for it. So although I am gutted that, it was April and it's now September, deep down, I don't mind. I prefer to have as polished as possible game rather than releasing something that's potentially broken or game breaking and things. Yeah.
So that mean Mrs. Cornwolf is going to be upset that this year's holiday is going to be in your living room?
Well, no, because we've already booked to go to Florida. So, yeah. But my anniversary is around, it's the 7th. So hopefully I could just twist her arm to say she could buy me one for an anniversary present.
Not that you get a chance to play it.
Well, yeah, I know, but
Right. I was actually disappointed with the Final Fantasy VII news because I'd kind of psyched myself up into thinking, you know what, I'm really going to give it a shot. I'm going to pick it up because it does look good, and I've got good memories of the original. And then it's only gone back 2 months, has it?
Yeah, they've added a couple of weeks. April 10th, I think it's coming out now.
It's gone back a month or 5 weeks or so, isn't it?
Yeah, they've basically said they want to apply final polish.
Yeah, so that's interesting. But now they've whacked it a week after Resident Evil 3, which means I'll be playing that, not playing Final Fantasy. So
it's looking really good, isn't it?
Resident 3. The delay is going to stop me from picking it up or picking it up anytime soon.
yeah, no, I know what you mean, because when it starts to overlap with things like for me with a holiday, my priority is to pay for my holiday and go on holiday.
Yeah.
So it changes that, and the other games that are later on in the year are encroaching on silly season as well.
Yeah, they're getting to silly season. The first quarter of this year was quite crammed. That's now freed up a bit now, but when you start doing things shorter than 2 weeks apart, it does get very easy to overlook and get lost behind some of the other stuff. And you think Doom Eternal's the 20th of March. 2 weeks after that, you've got Resident Evil 3. A week after that, you've got Final Fantasy 7. I'm sure there's something down for mid-April as well. And it's Easter weekend, isn't it? So there's a good chance that people are actually going to be away rather than gaming and everything else. So it's a bit of a interesting delay. So there must be something that they just cannot get done on time, and they obviously don't want to push it back any further. But yeah, it might knock my buying potential on that one.
Unless of course people want to piggyback on the release of new consoles and try and get a double bump, in terms of sales spike.
Yeah, that's my worry a little bit. But then again, the games, the consoles aren't released till, is it November and December?
Well,
around there.
No official release dates yet, are there? But that's what everybody's expecting. It's going to be every feeling is it October onwards? Or there was that was it a Reddit leak on the PS5, which people kind of disregarded, and then it looks like Sony have changed their slogan, and it matches what was in that leak. It doesn't mean anything's true, but I think didn't that say sort of end of September it might be coming out?
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, but you're talking, Q4 of this year, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, I was slightly disappointing on that one because I think it would have been fitting in a really nice gap there. The 3rd of March, there isn't a huge amount happening around that time. And now they're challenging themselves a bit.
And then, speaking of delays from March, I had a real moment of duality today because Dying Light 2, which was due out in spring, is now indefinitely delayed. Which is a shame because Dying Light was a great game.
Did you play Dying Light?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we play co-op.
Quite a bit of it, yeah.
I'm going to say, because that's like quite a scary game, especially when it turns to night.
It's one of those games though where once you've played through and leveled up and you've kind of become a bit OP, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're right. It's terrifying at night.
Even I'm good with that.
It does get easy with 2 of you at night, or rather, a shared sense of terror is a little bit easier. I do remember jumping off the top of a bridge quite a lot.
Oh yeah, that massive bridge. There was a trophy for it, wasn't there?
Yeah, something like that. We ended up having to do it a couple of times, and it was a lot of fun playing co-op. It was silly at points and
all I remember
ridiculous and everything.
All I remember in the first Dying Light playing that co-op with some friends was using the blue light just to look for any untoward stains in people's properties, doing inspections. Just wash the door down and just go, oh, what's been happening in here?
I had a real moment today because I thought I'd kind of forgotten Dying Light 2 was coming until I'd seen it was being delayed. And then I happened to find myself in town today. I was in Leeds. I had lunch with my sister. And on my way home, I thought, I'll just pop into Game quickly and have a look. And on the shelves there was a game I'd completely forgotten about, but has actually been out since like December, I think. Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts.
Oh, yeah.
That snuck out without anybody mentioning it.
Yeah, without too much fanfare, yeah.
No, it was Yeah, there wasn't a lot of fanfare at all, and there was also, I believe, a bit of a limit on review copies, what they were giving out to people.
I'm really tempted.
No.
I'm really tempted. I do love a terrible sniper game.
Yeah, but Ghost Warrior 3 was so terrible.
It was just a bit janky, wasn't it? Oh, no, it was a lot janky.
It wasn't a bit janky. It was just bad. It just didn't work.
It was one of those. I went back to that quite recently with a thing of, well, they'll have patched it. They'll have done a lot of work to it. You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
No, they ditched everything, didn't they? The season pass they had to give away for free because they didn't deliver any of the content. They dropped the multiplayer. Nothing came for it.
Yeah, they
was
didn't.
That poor.
They didn't patch it as much as I thought they might have. But it's okay because now they've made a new game.
It is supposed to have turned back to kind of the closed environments rather than an open world.
Yeah.
But we watched that video, the promo video for it, that didn't at all look scripted and slightly adjusted so that it appeared to play better than it really would do in real life.
Not at all.
And all the paid for positive comments on the video as well.
Oh God, that was did we mention that on the podcast? I can't remember.
I think we did. I think we could touch on it at some
because
point.
it was really cringeworthy and all the comments were very obviously shills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
definitely.
that's not coming out this year. But
it's
if
already
we're really
out.
unlucky, it might be a PS Plus game.
I'm so tempted. I was scanning because I saw it and I was like, oh, 35 quid. No. And then I thought, well, I'll look on the PSN store, 35 quid. No. And then I thought, well, I'll look in the pre-owned, and there weren't any of that. Genuinely surprised me there weren't any in the pre-owned section already. And then
nobody's bought it in the first place.
Yeah, just over the road. Oh, that's probably true. Just over the road from Game on the Head Road in Leeds is I don't want to call it Sex because I firmly believe it should be CEX.
Yes.
Yeah. There's one of those stores that Kevney knows very well, and I went in there and I looked, and they had a copy, and it was like 32 quid. No. No.
Yeah. Rarity in this case doesn't make it more valuable.
Yeah. So, yeah, there you go. And I think Ali's just added to the show notes, The Last of Us 2's been pushed back as well.
Yeah, I think it's slightly older news, but yeah, that was pushed back from February to May.
Yeah, I think we may have mentioned the May
announced.
date in the podcast. Actually. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just one of those things, isn't it? I'm sure there'll be lots of other games that release that we know nothing about. A bit like Temtem. Now, I've not got Tourette's, but there's a new game that's just come out, which is a Pokemon-style MMO, and they make no apologies for making it basically a rip-off of Pokemon, but with enough changes to it that it's not Pokemon, and it's doing really well apparently.
Contractually not Pokemon.
Okay. Yeah.
You lost me when you said Pokemon, so
silence.
Doubly lost me when you said MMO.
Oh,
if you don't like Pokemon, you should just leave.
Yeah.
If you don't like
Pokemon podcast.
If you're not a fan of the Pocket Monster, you should just go. Wait, that sounds bad.
It's like a Chinese proverb, but we're not going there.
Yeah, draw a line under it. Move it on.
Yeah. So a quiz. Let's have a little quiz.
Oh, hold on. I've got something for this.
It's time for another Codec Call quiz.
Here you go.
Didn't we say last time we needed to get that updated?
And we didn't do that yet. So yeah,
This could be a running gag for the next at least 6 months, isn't it?
I was thinking that we'd get some personal mileage out of it that nobody else would appreciate. Yeah.
So we can either alternate them, or if you've got buzzers, you could buzz in. But I presume that might be putting Matt on the spot.
Well, you put us all on the spot because you didn't say prepare buzzers. There's only one of us here with a soundboard.
Thunderhorse.
Yeah.
Okay. Who wants to go first? We'll do it that way.
Go on,
then.
Andy. You can go first.
Go on, yeah,
Because I know
I'll-
you hate answering questions, so you can go first.
I'll take one
Right.
for the team.
And just
yeah.
to put this out there, that you did pick Andy to go first. Okay. Just in case there's any questions that land on him So
All right.
the first half are all about delays, and then the second half are a little bit more about tech. But we'll get there. You'll see what happens. So, Andy, your first question.
Okay.
Persona 5 was released on the 4th of April 2017. However, what year was it originally slated for?
2014.
Oh, on the button. It was scheduled for the fall of 2014, and then they didn't release it till 2017. Well done.
Yay.
I haven't got the soundboard. Thank you, Andy.
I got you.
Matt, Horizon Zero Dawn also saw some slippage. Originally slated for 2016. However, when did it actually release?
2017.
It did. Do you know, for an extra point, can you get the actual day and month?
To the minute.
Yeah.
9 a.m. on the 14th of May.
No, it's 28th February. I don't know the actual time.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get one of these for the year and then for the day.
Fair enough.
Andy, Zelda Breath of the Wild
Yep.
was delayed from its original release date. It was first announced in 2013 that it was in development. However, due to the Wii U's very poor sales, Nintendo targeted a different release window. Can you give me the original planned year that it was due to release?
What? Hold on. It was planned. What?
So they announced it. They announced it in 2013,
Right.
which was going to release on the Wii U. So they had a release date for that, but then obviously it was released on the Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
So, but what was its original release date?
Meant to be or actually?
Meant to be.
For the Wii U or for the Switch?
Presume it's for the Wii U.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we've nailed down the parameters. I'm going to say 2014.
No, 2015.
Ah, damn.
So they announced it in 2013, I guess, in some video of some kind or whatever that Nintendo do. So 2013, they said it was going to be released on the Wii U, at which point they originally scheduled it for sometime in 2015, and then obviously they delayed it for the Switch, which was released in 2017.
Okay, that makes sense, yeah.
Matt, Half-Life 2 was another game that's a very fractured past. Originally scheduled...
This is going to be when is Half-Life 3 actually going to be released? Is that the question?
No. Although there is, keeping it on topic, because it's been announced, kind of, some VR thing, hasn't it?
That's not Half-Life
Alex,
3,
that's not
though.
Half-Life 3.
Okay. So it was originally scheduled for 2003, but it was pushed back. What year was it going to be announced?
What time? What year did it release? What year?
What year?
The question?
So it was originally scheduled for 2003.
Yeah.
But what year was it actually released in?
Actually released in.
Yeah. And it was announced in 2000. It was announced in 1999 that they were making it.
Was it 2009?
No, 2004.
Oh, it came out in 2004.
Yeah.
Jesus. What's up with Valve only delaying something by a year?
Well, technically they announced it in 1999, so
Yeah.
Still, a 5-year window. That's pretty good
yeah, true.
for them.
Andy, back to you. Resident Evil 4 was another game that was announced in 1999
Yeah.
and was released to a critical acclaim in what year?
Oh, now, I'm going to say 2005.
It is indeed.
Yeah, because I was living in a house in Nottingham with two housemates, both of whom were called Paul. So we had to call one tall Paul and one small Paul to differentiate them. And we played far too much of that game and did far too little research as a result.
Okay, last question on the dates. So, Matt, Team Bondi began development of LA Noire back in 2004. However, partway through development, Rockstar purchased the studio in 2006 to help them set up and deliver the game potentially at a better state. When did LA Noire actually release?
I'm gonna say 2011.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Well. Okay, so the next couple of questions are going to be around monetary. So you can both have a guess, and then whoever's closest can get the point. So we're going back to the tech side of things. So sim racing wheels for the standard racer. So myself and Matt, that would just go to a shop, Argos, wherever, and buy one, somewhere around £100 to £300, depending on which brand you go for and what you're buying it on and different things.
Yeah.
Plus you can get accessories with them. SimTech Racing offer a SimQ2 at various levels. How much would the Pro version set you back?
What's a SimQ2?
So this is literally just the base. So the bit that gives you either the direct drive or the rumble and things. It's the main bulk of it before you put a wheel or pedals to it.
So no wheel and no pedals, just the unit that has a cable going into it and would drive out.
Yes, to the nearest £100.
£1,800.
Andy?
I was going to say 2,100.
Andy gets the point. It's £2,712.
Whoa.
So again, this is just for the base. So this is for no shifting, no actual rim, wheel, pedals, nothing. That is just, it's going to deliver the vibrations and things like that.
You can actually buy a small car for less.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. So to add pedals to this, as mentioned before on other episodes, I have the T3PA Pro pedals, which set me back about £150, roughly. So I've got 3 pedals, the metal, and I can invert them in different things. Now, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of this because I think it's a Swedish company. Henshinkeved, I think it is.
I want to take you to IKEA now.
Show notes so you can see it. They offer pedals for the setup, and they also have built-in load cells and other features to enhance your experience. So these are proper Pro Sim Ultimate pedals, they're classed as, and you get 3 pedals in the set. How much in euros to the nearest 100 are they?
Go on, Andy, you go first this time.
700. 700 for the expensive pedals.
Matt?
I'm half tempted to say they'd be more expensive than the base unit, given the spec. I'll go for €3,000.
I think it's Andy, the €1,329. And they're currently out of stock. So, I think Andy was closer with 700 than your 3,000, just a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, not considerably, but yeah.
Yeah. So a race rig. A
race rig. Oh, hold on. A race
can't
wig.
edit that one out, boys.
Is this something else that you wear to give you like Damon Hill like locks?
Yes. Yeah. And you can also get a stick on Nigel Mansell-Tash. So a race rig wouldn't be complete without the actual wheel or the rim, as it's known. Most sets come with it, so your Logitechs, your Thrustmasters, and even some Fanatec bundles actually have that with it. The Asher Racing open wheel rim, which has also got a quick release on it. It's got double clutch paddles and it's got 12 buttons on it. How much would this set you back? Just to put it into context, mine, brand new, I got mine second hand, so it's about £80, but brand new is about 150.
I'll go with somewhere in the region of about 1,200 quid.
But yeah, well, I don't know, Matt, because it has got those double clutch paddles. Go big or go home, isn't it? I'm going to go for 2,500.
No, Matt got this one. It's actually €999.
I think it's like 40 quid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could buy one tomorrow at 40 quid.
So, last question. Obviously, you're going to need a housing rig for all of this. So, some kind of a sim rig. The chair that myself and Matt have, if you were to run one of these units on it, it'd probably twist the aluminium that it's made out of. Or if you was to put it onto a desk, it'd probably snap it in two, just because of the forces on it and different things. So, we need something a little bit more substantial. So, the Sim Lab have a GT1 Evo rig cockpit. How much would this set you back for the rig?
Is it just for the cockpit?
Yes. So this is what you need to bolt everything to.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's not including the chair.
Oh, it doesn't have the chair. Okay. No, obviously. So it's just a like a frame, basically, a cockpit style enclosure.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna go. I think you could pick up one of these for a bargain price of 3,270 and probably 47 pence.
If you're bidding on eBay.
Buy it now
For a second-hand one.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about this before. But for the life of me, I can't remember the price. I just remember it being quite expensive. About $5,000.
No. Technically, Andy's closer. So the actual rig itself, which is like the aluminium frame and everything, is only €445.
Oh.
Only. And the chair is €552.
I mean, that's a lot of money.
That's a bargain, really, isn't it?
At the same time.
In total, it's £997 or €50. And mine and selves Matt's Playseat Challengers were 200-ish, brand new.
I think I paid about 140 for mine.
I mean, when you put it like that, it's a false economy, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know, right? Yeah. It was actually cheaper than the other bits.
Yeah, you could have an actual
that's-
cockpit in your lounge, couldn't you?
Yeah. That's quite surprising, is that, actually? I did expect, well, obviously, I thought it was going to be a lot more expensive because I've definitely seen some rigs out there that are in the multiple thousands.
Yeah, I mean, this is not having loads of different bits on it and it doesn't move and stuff like that. So this is just literally the housing. So you've got a chair, if you were to buy the chair with it, obviously, that can slide like a car can. And you can adjust it and you can add other bits to it. So people have little decks on it like what Andy's got so they can do things in race and whatnot. But yeah, I just thought that was a little eye-opener to the sim racing world. Yeah. So some of the guys that you watch have these and it's crazy.
Yeah. Speaking of which, actually, because it made me think of it while you were asking the questions. If you head to Jimmy Broadbent's feed on Twitter, he's highlighted a couple of guys over the last couple of days who've done really well. I think it's iRacing. There's been some qualifiers going on for one of the events or one of the tournaments. It might be iRacing, it might be something else. But he's highlighted them because he's shown you the setup that they've used where they've come in first in their qualification and are touted to do very well. And it's unbelievable how poor some of them are. People aren't using these thousands of pounds worth of equipment to get there. Some guys are qualifying on a pad. In fact, was it the guy who won the GT Academy did his qualification laps on which GT game was it that did it? The first one.
Was it 5?
Was it GT5?
Yeah,
but he did his qualification for that on a DualShock. And went on to become a racing driver. So it's interesting that you can spend these thousands. It's not necessarily going to make you a better driver.
I hope that Sony made him use the actual car with a DualShock, though.
Well, that would have been good. Nice. Oh, well, cheers, Ali. That was a reasonable quiz.
So Andy won, by the way. 5-3.
Yes. I love a quiz that I can win on luck alone.
He's not going to sulk for the next 2 weeks now until we get another quiz.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I can't really say anything because it's true. What can I say? I'm a child. Right, okay. Well, that was good.
It's time for another Codec Call quiz.
Anyway,
We
So
need
that
an
wraps it
outro
up, I think.
for that as well, then, don't we?
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
something.
I've got this. Hold on. Let's wrap it up.
Better.
Yeah. I think that's about it. I think we're all done.
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah.
Thanks for
So,
hosting, Ali.
It's all right. It's been a nice little change, I think. So thank you everyone that's listening and that's listened live. Don't forget to go over to codecmoments.com where you can see all the reviews and different things that we write up over there. And you can also listen to the live feed, which will start at the end of this podcast. So when we go off air live,
Basically,
it will start.
I'll disconnect this, and then it will just go back into the middle of an episode of the podcast. So it may be a bit jarring, and I apologise, but there's lots of good stuff in there, and we're gonna tweak the stuff that's we broadcast on the Codec Moments radio feed. So it'll become more interesting and do some different stuff and things on there hopefully over the next couple of weeks and months.
Yeah, we're a little bit more dynamic than the constantly rotating episodes that are there at the moment, just to make sure it works, really.
Yeah, it works, so we're going to use it more.
All right, well,
Cool.
Thank you, everyone.
No worries. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.